And being back on the land after the dry summer heat, it hasn't rained since I left, so it's crazy to think about. You could see slightly on those olives that they're not really juicy, so they're really lacking water in general. Of course, again, the soil hasn't seen a drop of water in a while, so my main goal now is to give a few buckets of water to the trees. I have, I think, 35 olive trees on the land and on the property. So it's gonna be a bit of work, especially because I have no pump or such a thing. So I either collect the water from the spring, which fills up quite quickly considering that it's summer and it's still running, so that's pretty good. And otherwise I'll just grab some buckets from the well. I have a string attached to one bucket, so it's very simple, but it works. It takes more time, obviously, than watering it with a hose or having a pump system set up. But so far, it will maybe save the trees or some of them, so I can still harvest the olives for some nice olive oil, hopefully. Some of them look quite nice, and I will show you a few different ones. But yeah, most of them are suffering a bit. It really depends on the location of the tree. If they're shriveled up, like this one again, also very, very tiny olives, as you can see. The ones closer to the well that I'll show you in a second, they are like way more plump, and that's the way they should look. So yeah, let's water some olive trees. Also, some of the fruit trees I give a bucket of water because they're still really tiny, and yeah, they need some love as well. So what I will do for the next week, because the weathercast shows no rain whatsoever in the next weeks, I will give 2 buckets of water to each tree every 3 to 4 days. So that gives them a bit of a boost, and even if I don't collect the olives at the end of the day, it's fine, but that at least the trees get a bit of energy back. This is the scary well because I'm kind of on top of it. And I know the structure is safe, but still, it's a different feeling than getting it from the other one. And let's see how the water is here as well. It might be a bit different. Let's see. It's pretty dark. I can't see a lot. My only goal is not to fall in. Here you go. It's deeper for sure. The water looks really nice. Wow, that's really clear water as well. Crazy. So, although we're still in the heat of the summer, I am thinking about getting my winter patch, my winter garden ready, or preparing for it at least. So I have this plastic tarp, which I'm going to use on this patch. I think it's the patch that's gonna get the most sun in winter, because it's just an open field. There are no trees to shade it or something like that. So I'm gonna roll out this tarp. I think it's 4 by 10 meters, so it's gonna be enough space for the winter garden for sure. And the idea behind it is to use this tarp with the heat to suppress all the weeds, as well as getting the seeds killed off. Hopefully, that's the idea. And then I can remove it after 2 weeks, and since we're not getting any rain in the next 2 weeks, it's a perfect timing for it. So I'm going to roll it out and use some stones just to weigh it down so it doesn't fly away from the winds that we get here. Today is quite windy actually. Yeah, so that's the plan, and then just leave it and let's see how the results are after 2 weeks. So that's kind of the reason why we say mimosa is invasive, because it is. I'm not sure if you remember one of my last videos where I showed you that I cleaned the whole entire upper part of the land and there were no mimosa left, and now a few months later it's just going crazy. So you can see it's just a very invasive plant. It spreads through its roots, so it's a taproot system that's going on. So one solution for that is you just pull out the roots as quick as possible when they're still small and it's easy to pull them out, and you kind of weaken the plant and the root system. So after a few years you should be good, but of course it's a lot of work in those first few years where they just, want to go everywhere. And to prevent that, the natural way, that's the way to do it. Of course you could also, chop them down, but I like to pull the roots out entirely so it weakens the plant even more. And so that's gonna be my job for the next a few hours, I think. And also the other thing that spreads quite quickly are those brambles. So I'm also trying to tap into the root, but the tricky part with them, they're prickly. So they have thorns and it's quite harder to get them out. So I have a tool to help me with it, and at least to weaken them and to not make them get any bigger. That's my goal for today. But the good part, it's a sunny and fresh windy day, so it's the perfect time of day to do it as well. Not too hot yet, I think it's around 10 a.m. Let's get going! So that's a very good example of a taproot that I just pulled out. They're insane in a bad way. So if they're a bit harder to get out, I use this tool, which is really sharp, to kind of get as close as possible to the roots. It's not the optimal way, but it's better than just, cutting it with a weed whacker from the top. But if you pull them out pretty early on in their growing stage, it's very easy to take it out by hand. Otherwise, sometimes their roots are deeper, obviously, when they grow bigger, and that's when I use this one. So I'm going to use the same tool as well to get rid of the brambles. So it might be a lot of work now to get rid of all the deeper roots, or at least the superficial root system, but it will save me a lot of time from weed whacking and to prevent it from getting bigger and then getting unmanageable. So I prefer to put in the work now and then kind of be able to relax the years afterwards. Relax. What is relaxing when you own a farm, right? But you get what I mean. And this tool is so nice. It was so easy to get rid of the harder mimosa roots that were really deep down or really too thick to pull out by hand. So this was left by the previous owner, and it's a really original tool, I guess. I just gonna have to sharpen it after a while, but so far it's still really sharp and does the job. but to maintain its full power, you have to sharpen those tools after a while. So yeah, let's keep going. See, this is what I mean. I get to pull out quite a bit of the roots, well, not the entire root, but at least the bigger trunk, and I don't have to touch any of those prickly branches by doing so, so double the win. And next week the work continues on the Quinta as several different projects are waiting to be tackled. And just because I don't want you to get the idea that I only work on my farm, I have a little surprise clip for you of me off-roading with a friend over the weekend. Enjoy and see you next time. Bye!
What you doing?
Oh, just off-roading.
Oh, what's coming?
Oh,
Oh, oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Watch out, there's a big monkey coming.
Oh my god.
That's nothing compared to what I did earlier, by the way.
Oh.